day and welcome to this another edition of the Republican debate on the Republican television with Republican panelists. And of course, I am not alone. As usual, I have guests here with me. And he is coming here for the very first time. They call him Kohtem Prince Will. He is the man from Bali Kumbat. How are you today?
Thank you very much. Good day, Mr. Clarkson. And, good day to all the televiewers of this Republican television. And sitting on a Republican panel like this one to open a Republican debate, I think I'm doing very fine. And I really want to wish each and every one of us, especially my brother on the other side, Mr. Fabrice Lena, and the fellow panelists, so that we can have a very Republican and debatable debate. Thank you very much.
His name is Kohtem Prince Will. He is, of course, a student in the University of Swa. Yaoundé too, is that?
Thank you very well. I was a student there because I had a master's degree there and pursuing my PhD somewhere in the University of Douala, and double at the same time as a Pan-Africanist because I'm the Secretary General of the Pan-African non-governmental organization which is known as UNAFE, that's United Africa for Economic Empowerment, and at the same time the CEO for another NGO which I want to keep behind because as a young man, as young Cameroonians, we're putting something forward, but we don't want to let the cat out of the bag beforehand.
We say thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Prince Will. Sitting beside you, he is from the communication of the CPDM party. They call him Full Godfrey. Full Godfrey, you are welcome to the Republican debate.
Thank you, Mr. Tavi, and I'm so grateful to be here this morning, and I'm happy that we will have a debate here, and the debate should be cordial so that our televiewers there may learn something. You know, this time around we have to the building of Cameroon is not only on the field, and media, social media, and ordinary medias like yours are doing a great job to see Cameroon.
How is the CPTM party
doing very well?
You already planning for next elections?
Yes, 2025. We are already on the field.
Okay.
Yes.
Sitting here equally on the panel is the communication boss of the PAP party, the party of Ayapola Bine. He is, of course, Fabrice Lena. Fabrice Lena, you are welcome to the Republican debate.
Thank you very much, Clarkson. Once more, I'm very honored to be a participant of this Republican debate. This is the second time I'm here, and I really admire the programs that this TV is offering, and I want to wish Cameroonians to always tune to Cam10 TV for the Republican debate, and for all those standing at their TV to watch us live. I want to greet all of you, to encourage you that the task of building this country lies on all our shoulders, and to say that let's continue to give the positive mindset, the positive energy that we require to put the broken pieces of our country together in all the aspects that we need to put. And I also want to greet members of the Popular Action Party, especially those in our bastion of support in Kumba, in Bamenda, in Manfe, and those in Douala and Yaoundé, that it is time for us to carry the field work. We need to be represented in the Republican institutions, that the parliament and the other arms of the government, so that we could also have the power to sign decisions and influence positively decision making in our country, and live up to the expectations of our militants. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.
Thank you equally for coming, Fabrice Lena. It's true that we have two topics today. The first topic will be on the Anglophone crisis. Tanganji, the Minister of Territorial Administration, says Paul Biya, the President of the Republic, has won the war against the separatists. But before we come properly into the debate, please, let's have this report. The report on Atanganji. The report. The Minister of Territorial Administration says the war against the separatists has been won. Paul Atanganji was speaking during a security meeting in Bamenda on Monday.
The message is clear. President Paul Biya has won the war against the secessionists, against the terrorists. And all these criminals have been rejected by the local population.
Since the start of the Anglophone crisis in 2016, thousands have been killed and hundreds many more, thousands displaced. Minister Atanganji is once calling on the separatists who are still in their bushes to come out.
We have to be thankful to President Paul Biya. And the only way we can be thankful is to fight these terrorists who have nothing to offer. Or if the parents come out clearly and tell their children, you are my son, you are in the bush, you have to come out.
During the meeting, the minister also handed a special package to the mayor of the Bamenda City Council.
After the ban on motorbike riders, because we realized that some of the motorbike riders were truants and they were in total, they were conniving with the terrorists, the motorcycles were banned. And the mayor of the Bamenda City Council bought some buses to ease the population, those who were going from one end to the other. And to encourage him, the president has given a special package.
To the Minister of Territorial Administration, there is a serene atmosphere prevailing in Bamenda, and this thanks to the President of the Republic. The Anglophone crisis, Atanganji says Paul Biya has won the war against the separatists. I'll begin with you, Prince Will. Can we say that the President of the Republic has won the war against the separatists?
Thank you very much, Mr. Clarkson. That's a very good question. But the question is there a war? That is the first question we have to ask ourselves. And when we talk about war, if we have to define the word war, what does it mean? It's an engagement of conflict between one country to another. That's a simple definition we can give to war. Or one entity to another entity. Now, in this instance, we have the state and we have the citizens within the state. Now, you know, the state has its ambit, it has its arms, wherefore you have the various arms of the state. You have the population, sovereignty, you have territory, and you have and the likes. Now, Cameroon, we have 10 regions, and 2 of these 10 regions with their different colonial origins have been crying before now because of they have been maltreated, as they say. They have been left out in the management of the state affairs, and it began in 2016 where the lawyers took to the street and the teachers and the like, saying that we are not comfortable with what is happening. It is true this spark up in Bamenda with the Convo revolution and the likes, yes. And they were trying, some citizens were trying to manifest their that they are not okay with the management of state institutions. Now, because they say they are not okay, you said no, they can't open their mouth and say a word. Now, look at where it has led us to. 2016 to 2021, we are moving forward with the same crisis. And who are those involved? They are our citizens, Cameroonian citizens. The minister is the Minister of Territorial Administration, which therefore means he is the boss that has competence of the national territory to ensure that there is living together, there is harmony, there is security. Now, when people manifest their the fact that they are not happy with what is going on with everything, and you decide that the best way for you to treat them, it is to get them shot, to get them to give them a particular name, tag them a name, then get them shot. Now you tag them the name separatists, you call these people separatists, and you declare a war against them. I ask myself, if you declare those who say that they don't like a particular way of governance separatists, does it mean when these people in the south region, I saw when we recently during the corona period, we saw a lady who is the chief in the south region who came out and said, no, we can't accept that you guys should be stealing our wood here. And there was some sort of hearing between them. We saw the chief in the south where they gave him the bucket and the other things during the coronavirus. He rejected because that is their mindset. They didn't want that. But now when the people from the northwest and the southwest they reject this, yes,
can we say that the war against the separatists, that the Yaoundé regime has won the war at this moment?
That is where I'm coming to, okay? Yeah. Because the Yaoundé regime said they have won the war. I asked the same question: is there any war? Because they first of all refused that there wasn't any war. Now there is a war and they have won the war. When you say you have won something,
what do we expect to see? We expect to see benefits. We expect to see good results. Therefore, it means that we won't have been hearing again that there have been gunshots. We won't have been hearing again that there were Mautu. We won't have been heard again that there was the matters and incident. And the other day, I think it was yesterday, we won't have heard that a Form 5 student was being shot in the Northwest region coming back because there was a confrontation between the separatists and the military. Now, how can you say you have won the war where there is still a lot of gun smokings back there? You see a lot of people still running out of the region. You see the region, you say you have won the war, but the head of state is giving money that they should buy bus to substitute Ghost Town there. How can you win the war when Ghost Town is they're still expecting ghost towns? How can you win the war when the boys are not leaving the bush? I don't want to say the boys, but when the boys are not leaving the bush to come to the town, to come and come and join the DDR center, when the DDR centers are instead empty, rather than getting the boys from the bush. So when we look at all these things,
the war is not yet won.
With what I have said, do you think the war has been won?
Okay, Godfrey, can we say the war has been won, as Atanganji is saying that President Paul Biya has won the war against the separatists?
When he was talking and he was saying the war, when they talk about war, it is a war. When they want to define a war, it's a war against two entities. So I just want to try to inform him that when they talk about war, sometimes we declare war even against thieves when we have them. We declare war even against the word war. For you should not be taken at the first degree of the word, because here we can still say we are talking about Cameroonians, and immediately you have taken an arm against the state. At least you are entering a war. And when they talk about war, because when I try to understand what you were saying. Because when they talk about war, it means there are two groups that they can easily identify. But in this situation, we have people who have transformed themselves to be what they are. That's why you see the minister calling criminals. And when if we come back to the word as he said, the war have been won. You have to know that this war in the Northwest it is in the two stages. We have psychological and physical war. That's when we talk about psychological war. At certain moment, the population of you see the fluid of the population from Northwest to Yaoundé, who were like seeking refuge. But gradually, most of them have already went back to their to their places, which simply means at least there they can vacate in their occupation without any fear again. And talking about physical, you see that the rate and the way those guys were killing the population have almost dropped, and we can even see that the schools have resumed. Administrators are gradually taking back their posts. So at least at that moment we see that life is coming back.
Life is
psychologically even the population are not with those people, because they have seen those are people that propose nothing today.
The minister said they have nothing to offer.
They have nothing to offer. So, and as the head of state always said, these children have been manipulated by some who will always propose to them something that will gain at the end, but we don't even know what.
So the war has been won.
At least maybe I should forfeit to just in Ethiopia. You talked about the psychological element of the war and that the guys pick the guns first. But I want to remind you that just yesterday, 2016, we can remember very well when the lawyers went to the streets. You saw the military people, the police people who came with sticks and guns and beat people. They got lawyers well beaten, and some of them, their rigs were being taken back to the police station and the likes that they refused the court. I don't know if were the lawyers that came out with the guns, but we want to keep that aside. When you say the young people, because we have to be honest, we are Republican citizens, we are talking to Cameroonians. We have to understand, when you say the internally displaced people are gradually going back to the Northwest and Southwest, I want you to search your conscience like a Cameroonian, a Republican Cameroonian, to ask this question. Now, the minister came out I think 2 days before the minister came out to say what he said, there was an incident in Moyuka. 3 days, about 2 days after he came out, there was another, and there are continuous incidents that we are seeing, like the one yesterday in the Northwest and the other ones. We even saw the women who came out in Bamenda to express their worries. We saw those who came out far in the Northwest in Kumbo to show that there are rampant arrest of people. How can you say you've won when you're rampantly arresting people? My question is, who are you arresting? Are they not your citizens? Who are you fighting the war against?
But the question, have you ever asked yourself, why are they arresting those
yes,
people?
of course, they say they're arresting because
let's welcome Anong Jacobs. Anong, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Clarkson.
How are you today?
I am faring somehow better. And good afternoon to the noble minds on set, and good afternoon to televiewers. I'm sorry for coming late. I'm still fighting that syndrome of going late to ceremonies. I don't know if I'll have to go and invoke the powers of my ancestors to cut that from me. But all the same, it's better late than never.
We are talking the Anglophone crisis. Can we say the government has won the war against the separatists?
It's a very vexing issue if you get such pronouncements, especially from people whom we all are supposed to have some degree of decorum when they come out to speak, like the Minister of Territorial Administration, saying that the government has won the war. It's a pity, because the Minister of Territorial Administration is an Anglophone. He is fully aware that in the last 20 days we have had several casualties on both sides, on the restoration fighters and on the regular army by the government. We cannot be saying that a war has been won when all these things are still happening. I think before the minister's pronouncement of his speech is less than 5 days that we lose 4 of our noble gentlemen, the soldiers at Matazem. Before that, we had lost the divisional delegate for communication in Momo division in Bengui, in a bomb blast that took place there, with many other soldiers that went down the drill. Before that, or after that, a few days after that, we have lost about close to 10 people in Mautu. These are not less than 20 people who have gone down in the first 20 days in January in the ongoing war against the Anglophones in Cameroon. How can the minister be saying that the war is won? We think that it is high time for us to still keep, or for some people to still keep playing politics while lives are going down. We think that
so Atanga is playing politics?
No, that is, it is very evident that that's politics. We find it difficult to call the shots between state spokesman, state representative, and a politician. I want to tell you that as a civil society, we find it difficult to find the boundary between the state personality speaking and a politician speaking. We expected a state pronouncement from the Minister of Territorial Administration, because when Minister Tanganji goes down to Bamenda or to go down into a war zone, he's not going down there as a CPDM or whatever a militant. He's going down there as a state personnel. So he has to give pronouncements which are not biased, which are not political, which are they are normal, they are near reality and feasibility facts on the field. We are fully aware, all of us here are aware, Cameroonians are aware that the war is ongoing. People are being killed as we speak now. We might be getting result by evening of what has happened, either on the military camp or on the restoration camp or on civilians. Which war has been won? Which war has been won when funds, chiefs are not yet in their palaces? I'm asking this to the minister. Which war has been won when Bamenda traders gathered a few days ago, less than how many hours, and told the mayors and told the state personalities that the war is on? The ghost towns are still fully respected. I think by Monday, cars were burned along the Bamenda Manfi Highway.
School is going on in the Northwest and Southwest.
School is going on is not a war won. School is going on because at a given moment, I think, this is my analysis, at a given moment, the separatists or the defenders of the separatist stand realized that they were shooting their legs at one moment, so they should let school go on. Because if we have to fight this war to have a clean Anglophone Cameroon, or a Southern Cameroon, or an Ambazonian Cameroon, as they put it? Who are those who are going to be leading tomorrow? Given that school had not gone on for about 4 years. So I think they came to their senses, to a rationale, to say that, okay, while the war continues, let our children be getting some what? Some classes. Okay. And I think they laid down some preconditions for schools to go on. Are you aware that there are places in southern Cameroon that schools are going on without a national anthem being sung? Are you aware that there are schools going on in southern Cameroon without the Cameroon national flag being hoisted? Is that the war that has been won? Are we aware that there are a lot of administrators who don't go to their workplaces within the week? Are we aware that the ghost town is still rampantly being respected in the whole of southern Cameroon? Are we aware about that?
Let's take the opinion.
Where is the war that has been won, Mr.
Let's take the opinion of Fabrice Lena. Fabrice, you have the PAP. Has the war been won in the southwest and northwest region?
That's a sweeping statement from the minister. And it is quite with a heavy heart. It's alarming, it's appalling, it's a call for concern that state institutions like the Ministry of Territorial Administration in Cameroon at this point in time will come out to reduce himself to make a baseless pronouncement. I call it baseless pronouncement because when they talk of winning a war, winning even a strike or a crisis within a region or in a country requires some factors, some elements that shows that everyone, you don't need to tell people, everyone will tell you, okay, no, the problem has been solved. Yes, the war has actually ended. But now the statement, the war has been won by, is a challenge statement. And to me, I am rather seeing the minister as someone who is fueling the crisis by his statement. Yes, he is fueling the crisis by his statement because his statement is a provocation to the separatists who think that the minister wants to have some sort of favor from the boss who nominated him Minister of Territorial Administration by declaring and defending the fact that the war has been won. And the second aspect I want to talk is that this war is an asymmetric war. This war is a guerrilla warfare. This war is a war that we can have silence and normalcy for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And subsequently we see sporadic, periodic killings, massacres. That's what we saw in 2020. At the beginning of 2020, we saw some 2 to 3 weeks normalcy. Ngabu killing Cape made the whole society to be provoked, the international community to talk. Coronavirus came in because Ngabu was closely followed by Babanki killings. Coronavirus came in, and when the Secretary General of the United Nations said there should be temporary ceasefire, many leaders of the separatist faction accepted, but it was not reciprocated by the Cameroon government. And we saw how the Anglophone crisis came in the mid of the year, June, July, with the intensification right up to the end of 2020, where we saw serious killing. Mr. Tabi Carson, when you see this kind of evolution of the crisis, the war that the minister say some other person have won,
but don't you think
how will you say that he has won the war? That statement.
But don't you think that he is better placed, given that he is the minister?
It's not even conceivable.
He is the Minister of Territorial Administration.
If the Minister of Territorial Administration must have visited the 13 divisions of Northwest and Southwest and the subdivisions with a document presenting to Cameroonians available in a particular website or even in physical copy for Cameroonians to have and read the elements on which he's basing his statement that the war has ended, I will gladly go behind my minister to say congratulations for the work you have done to see that we end the war that has been ravaging Cameroonians. But I am telling you here that myself, I'm researching on the Anglophone crisis, and I can tell you everything that's happening on this crisis day by day, and I have a document on that, soft and hard copy. And I don't think the minister have that.
The minister,
and I want to pass this message. A minister of the state is supposed to be protecting population, territory, government. It is unfortunate that our ministers are for the government and not for the population or the territory. And that is why the territorial integrity of this country has stake because of this cut across statement. Mr. Tabi, let's be very careful with the cut across statement of ministers.
Okay, we are ready.
It's these same statements that make people to go to the beaches in 2016.
We have heard you. Let's take the opinion of Full Godfrey. Full Godfrey, you just heard what Lena said a while ago, that the statement of Atanganji is a provocation by saying that the war has been won by the President of the Republic, the Anglophone war. We can put it that way, or the Anglophone crisis.
Yes, I think he has his right to say what he's saying. But if I want to talk about the minister here, I would just say the minister is talking about facts. He's talking about what is happening on the field. And if people can still see into that war, that is something I don't believe. Because, you know, even the population of the Northwest and Southwest have already today understand that they have nothing to gain. And when the minister is talking, you can imagine in the Southwest football match they are playing. There is nothing.
The Shan is
going on there.
Yeah, in Limbe.
And before then, people sat and they said nothing can go on. We are talking about this war. Thieves have entered into this issue, and today it becomes very difficult to know who is doing what for what. And when you hear the minister saying the population have rejected the criminals, that is true, because all of them have seen. You cannot propose something to somebody and tomorrow you are the same person to handle the person. I just got a video this morning, a lady that was undressed and was beaten with by these criminals. You can imagine, they say you are going out with this and they were beating. Are those people, can you call those type of people who are fighting a war against the same people? So when you see the ministers talking, it's because at least now like this, I think our professional armed forces are having a hand, and they have mastered everything, and they are ready to.
Well, you say they have mastered everything, but people are dying every day. People are being killed.
We that's what we talk about, the guerrilla war. That's people who just and that's where sometimes I say the population they will not only go out on the field when there is a crime that have been committed as that one that is affecting the population. They have to denounce. They have to cooperate with the forces of law and to denounce all those people, because sometimes I said all those guys are living in, they are not, when they even say they are living in the bushes, most of them are living in their houses, and they are well known. They are well known. Somebody just told me a few days ago that if you send your wife in the Southwest or in the Northwest, don't be surprised that she will be raped, because those guys, they will come and they will impose what they want to do with her, and she can only accept. So which war are they fighting? In the favor of who are they fighting that war?
So and today, has the war been won? Has the war been won?
When they talk about, yes, the war has been won, because the population have desolidarized themselves from those people.
I don't know how you can be arbitrating things like that. You are saying that the population,
you cannot judge
the population.
We are gentlemen.
You say the people have disassociated themselves from the population and they are living with them.
Please,
that they have to denounce.
Please. I'm the one moderating
I
here,
said inside this issue now, there are thieves who are coming.
Please, allow him to talk, please.
And when they come, they commit the atrocity.
Allow him to talk.
Disappear.
Please, allow him to talk. Allow him to talk. Allow him to talk, please.
Yes,
Land,
please.
yeah.
When you people are talking,
I
stay quiet.
We are gentlemen, please.
Allow you to talk. So let's everybody will have
the time to talk.
The time to talk.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's just that we should say things that are really for the reconstruction of our country.
Please,
allow Mr. Godfrey to go on. Yeah, Mr. Fu, go on.
So I said, as for the instance, you see the population of the Northwest and Southwest have nothing to gain from these people who have been given everything. The DDR have been created, and many other things are coming up. We have the decentralization,
and it's important to say
that's a structure that
it's important to say that the minister reiterated. Please,
I think you are giving me more time than us.
Please allow me to moderate.
I don't know if you are the one counting the.
I'm the one moderating here. Please.
No, but we should have
the minister.
When I'm talking, allow me to say what I'm saying.
Please don't disturb. Please. Please. The Minister of Territorial Administration reiterated that if the Amber Boys or the separatists, if they drop their arms, they will be forgiven by the Republic, by the government of Yaoundé. Well, Prince Will, can we say that the statement of Atanganji is a mistake?
No.
Politically talking?
Well, let me come back to what Mr. Godlove was talking about. I think that is it, right? Mr. Tabby Clarkson, let's say this thing. The way he talks, says someone told him that if he sends his wife to the southwest region and he will be raped. This brings you a clear picture of who these people are. There are people who don't know what is happening in the terrain because someone is telling him. I want to ask him when last was he in the northwest or in the southwest, because he's talking like someone who knows what is happening, or someone.
Just 2 months ago, I was in southwest and I was there for at least 2 weeks.
And when you were there, did you see?
There was tranquility. There was tranquility.
Yes. So this person who is telling you now that if you send your wife there, your wife will be raped. I don't know. Is it a two different? Is it northwest in Nigeria or southwest in Nigeria?
Even in the videos that you are seeing, you see those guys in the.
And there is tranquility.
And the war has been won.
Yes, and the war has been won.
That's when they talk about the war won.
Okay. No, it's okay.
Immediately the population is not with those people.
I am the one. It's my time.
At least psychologically.
You have asked him a question. Allow him to answer.
No, but he has already answered the question.
To say what he's saying, because you know, at certain moment, this population were like. Trying to support those guys, and when they discover that they can have only nothing to offer,
okay, can I at the same moment this population are living with the same people who they are not.
Okay, allow Prince Will to land. Yeah,
Prince Will. I'm begrudging
please.
I think Cameroonians are out there and are getting what he is saying and what the minister has said too, and I think that they both put together are people who don't really master what is going on. Why do I say so? You don't say you've won the war and we have a big competition like the Chan going on in our country. We saw how the Limbe or Misford Stadium was empty the other day. We saw few heads. And the rumors around, I don't want to base on rumors because yes, evidence and it's not being considered, but
normally because of COVID, you don't expect the stadium to be
COVID.
What about Yaoundé and Douala? What about Yaoundé and Douala? What about the reunification stadium? There's no COVID in Yaoundé. There's no COVID in Douala.
Mr. Tabi, can I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Yes, you talked about Yaoundé. That is COVID. I want to ask you, like my fellow panelists are asking. This is Amadou Aïdjo. We saw it almost full. We saw Japoma half full. We saw Bepanda almost full. Not so. Even when the light went off, we saw only the torches in Bepanda made everywhere was clear. Not so. Now, before the Chan, we saw what happened in Likumba. They burned a truck. We saw what happened in Mutengene. We saw how that has happened in Boya. I don't know if those burning of things have been happening in Douala or in Yaoundé. Leaving that aside, not so, we say there is serenity. The situation is under control. The head of state has won the war, and I still want to come back to them. The head of state has won the war, and the minister of territorial administration, who is a citizen of the state as well, is going to where they have won the war, and is wearing an armored car. I didn't say he's wearing gun proof. I said he's wearing an armored car.
Yeah, let's
come
back to the statement of the minister. Politically, is it a mistake for him to say so?
Now, this is what happened. He talked about the putting in place of decentralization as a means of completing the 1972 constitution as amended by 1996, not so, further amendment in 2008. Now, you said, is it political? From the day 2018 when the president was being re-elected and a government was being put in place, where are those government ministers political party members, or they are ministers who are there to serve Cameroonians? That is the question. Because if the minister of territorial administration, who is supposed to be there as a member of the government, and the government is an arm of the state which is in charge of the implementation of government policies, who is being headed by the president of the republic, because you don't forget, the head of state is being elected and he put forth, upon consultation by the prime minister, he put forth a government, not so? And that government is in charge of implementing government rules. Which therefore means that when you are a government member, from the day you have been elected, you are no longer a CPDM member, or you are no longer a PAP member, or you are not a CRM member. No, you are a Cameroonian that has been given a task to rule Cameroonians, to make sure that Cameroon move ahead to emergency 2035 that has put it. You're there to ensure that as a Minister of Territorial Administration, that the territorial boundaries of the country within the integrity, the internal territorial limitation of the country is being under security and there is no chaos. Now, at this level, are you a politician or you are a Cameroonian, a minister in charge of implementing this rule?
A mistake on the part of Atanganji to say so?
Is it a mistake? He went from there, he left from Bamenda and went to the West region, where he told the chiefs in the West region.
You're not answering the question.
No. We are there. He told the West region, I am proud to be a CPDM member, and I am. And you are chief, you have to help the state. What was the implementation of that statement? It means that if you are a member, if you are supposed to be an actor of the state for the builder of the state, automatically you have to be a member of the ruling party. So I don't know if we have to distinguish if his statement was a mistake from being that of a political party member or that of a government member. But obviously we can see that was that of a political party member who was talking and not of a government minister.
A mistake on the part of Atanganji?
I think it's I will call it a political or an accidental discharge to make that kind of statement, because it is not helping the government and it is not helping the populace. Honestly speaking, in the brink of a very burning crisis, conflict like the one we are facing, you come out and announce that a party in the war or in the conflict has won, when you are not even sure of your own security. You are heavily secured with bees, gendarmes, police officers, mixed armed guys are around you, but you have won a war. In the heart of the war, a few hours after your departure, we get what happened. That is provocation I want to see. I think it is high time our governing class should struggle to put a bridge between political stance and state stance. We need to have this differentiation, because at one moment we feel like the minister thinks that he is working for the CPDM party. He is serving the CPDM party, just like the statements he made in Bafusam. When I think that was not a CPDM meeting where he had to say he is a CPDM minister, personality, and is proud to be so. Nobody needs that. We don't need that. He is going out under the payroll of the taxpayers of Cameroon. Of course. He's not going under the contributions of the CPDM party. We have to call these shocks.
But is it bad for him to say that he belongs to the CPDM?
Within that context, it is bad. He's not out for a political campaign.
Unacceptable.
He is out as a minister of interior. In the Anglophone system, we call them the minister of interior. Meaning that he is going there to resolve a problem as a minister of state, as a servant of the people of Cameroon, and not of a political party. Are you aware that that statement may provoke so many people who don't take side with him within that crisis meeting, who are not CPDM? Are you like saying that if you don't belong here, we say tampi? No. It goes back to what the Anglophones came out and were crying since 2016, that some of the arrogance, the several arrogance of state personnel have pushed and caused all of what is happening today. We expected to hear the minister, our minister, give a balance sheet of the war. It is true the state is fighting the war. The state has I could say the state has won some battles. This is a fact. I'm talking as a civil society. It's a fact the state has won some battles, not the war. There are battles and the war. The battle on school, we saw the weight of the state fighting that school should go back. And I want to think that we should laud that effort, because we all added our voices for school to go on. We never supported the fact that because you want to make your points, you should stop students from going to school. We never accepted that. Although we're saying that there were conditions for people to go to school. It's not for going to school for school going sake. We expected our minister, Mr. Clarkson, to say it is true. All of us are seeing what we are going through. There are a lot that is going on that is not correct. Let us put our hands together to see how we come out of this situation, this satanic situation we are in. Than to come and say that we have won a war when they are killing people in Mao too. Before the minister made that speech, Clarkson, We all are witnesses that not less than 8 people have gone down the drain in Mautu. And the international community is mounting more pressure today, calling for an independent investigative commission to look into that. It's not long before that. We lose about 5 Cameroonians at Matazem. The boundary point between the northwest and the southwest region and the west region. And this very minister comes to say a war has been won. A war has been won when Monday as we speak is a ghost town in the southern Cameroons. In Mamfi, in Eyumojok, in Bamenda, in Kumbu, in Boya, in Limbe, people observe the ghost town. Have we won this war with people not coming out on Mondays? Of recent, the Bamenda traders just demonstrated, called the mayor and had a meeting with him, and they gave them facts, living facts. Why they could not? The war is ongoing.
The war is on.
The war is ongoing.
It's not yet won.
It is not yet won.
The government has won battles.
The government has won battles.
Okay.
That is indisputable. The government has won battles.
Not the war.
Not the war.
Okay, Fabrice, the government has won battles. Do you agree?
Well, I will say that the government of Cameroon, the authorities of Cameroon, the President of the Republic, the Minister of Territorial Administration are responsible for what the calamity, the disastrous abyss, the stage where we are today, because there are two forces of argument. We have comprehensive discussion and we have cohesive force, and it's because of the attitude, reaction, decision and thought pattern of the system in place that this resulted to an armed conflict. Anglophone problem would never have resulted to armed conflict because Anglophone had been a very complacent, credulous and understanding people for how many years? If you stay with somebody and the person maltreats you, Mr. Clarkson, from 1961, somebody smashing your leg every day, you are swallowing. Smashing your leg every day, you are swallowing. For more than 50 years. And then you come and say, but please, brother, I think that we should do like this, we should do like that. You say, 2 cups of sugar in water. After you say, what would they do? Et vous allez faire quoi? After you cut across statements, they are going to crush them. They are rats, they are dogs. You see, this is the fundamental problem, because me, I don't want to look at the problem at whether government has won or who has not won. Who is responsible of protecting the elements of a state, population, territorial integrity and government? It is the President of the Republic, who also doubles as Chief of Armed Force, who has the ability to say that we are forming. I was even expecting Mr. Tabi Clarkson that after 2018 presidential elections, the President of the Republic should form a reconciliatory government. A government where CPDM should not be put in front of solving the problem of Cameroon.
If PAP refuses to enter the government, what do you want?
It is not a problem of refusing PAP. If the President of the Republic says, I am inviting all political leaders in the southern Cameroons, I don't think if the President of the Republic today decides that I'm giving invitation to Justice Ayapo to come to Ayabacho, to these people, let's discuss about Cameroon. Where do you people want us to discuss it? How do you people want us to discuss it? Consultatively, they will not reject it. We are all Cameroonians.
There was a major national dialogue.
The conditions for the major national dialogue were predetermined. I am telling you, we were actors in the national dialogue, but we never participated because everything had been dictated before the date. So when things are like this, Mr. Clarkson, it is improper and impossible to begin to say government has won war. Should it be a priority for a government to win war against its citizens?
And what are the mechanisms that they use to win
because
the war?
It's funny.
Shooting.
Somebody, a minister will go and say, we have won, the government, the President of the Republic has won the war. So is it not a shame, Mr. Clarkson, for you as an interior minister to stand before the media, tell the world that you have won a war against your own citizens?
Okay.
It's not the Bakassi Peninsula crisis. Here is Cameroon versus Cameroon.
Okay.
That means you are actually telling the people that you are not together.
Before we take full Godfrey, and just 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds.
I think in-depthly again, the minister's statement is sarcastic to the government. The government has never accepted that there is the war that they are fighting.
Yeah.
The government knows that it's an internal issue that they are regularizing. That statement is it is exposing this republic to vultures to come in. I want to say this loud
Very
and clear.
ambiguous.
That it is very, very ambiguous. Now, if you have won a war, it means there was a war. With who? Against who? Where have you won? When did it start? We must go back to the root causes. I want to say that some of these statements are coming up, Claxon, because people have heard that there are in-depth negotiations that are going on to resolve this crisis. And if this crisis is resolved, there are a good number of people whose wise pot of soup will go dry. And so, they will prefer.
Are you saying that the minister does not want the war to end?
I'm not saying so. I said there are people, there are a good number of people whose wish is that, don't forget the fact that as the war is going on, there are a lot of people who are eating fats. Look at the sizes of our state personnel who are managing the crisis.
Okay.
Look at their sizes prior this crisis and what they have now.
Okay.
Look at people who are serving sections in other countries. Please, 1 second. When they get to office, few months or weeks after, you see that they are at work, you see them start going shrink. I want to quote President, my point with President Obama. When he climbed to power, Barack Obama, the former president of the United States, even Nicolas Sarkozy, when he climbed to power, few months into power, you saw people at work. You could see it visibly on them. They were already shrink, gray hairs and all of that. It showed that they were at work. Our own leaders,
they are eating.
A majority of them, I want to say a majority of them,
they are eating and they are not working.
They are milking, they are getting more help, they are fat. You don't see the work, you don't see the results. If they were actually working, the Anglophone war, the crisis would have been resolved since 2016.
Okay, we have heard you, Adam. Full Godfrey?
Yes.
I saw you just jotting down.
Yes, I'm just trying to judge because it is like there is a confusion through the message the minister was struggling to pass. He said clearly, the war have been won against the criminals who took guns against the state. So I think
allow him to talk, please.
Please, you are not the one.
Please allow him to talk. Please. It's a debate. Please allow him. Yes, please.
When I was speaking, I stood.
No,
I can just see.
I will respond.
I ask you a question.
Lena,
yes, I will respond.
Lena,
ask you a question.
Lena.
If it is that game, I can just stay quiet and you talk.
Lena.
You change nothing.
I want to understand.
Please, I will not. I'm not coming here to say what you like to hear. That's what you have to know. If you are coming here thinking that I will be telling you things that you have to hear, I think no. Please.
No, it's a debate, please.
I'm not contradicting myself. I said maybe you people are not getting what the minister said. He said the war have been won against the criminals, those who took guns against the state. You understand? And he wants me to now to define who is the criminal and who is this. When once one Cameroonian is down because another Cameroonian have taken a gun illegally, because we know that we know those who are supposed to legally have.
You should use the personal pronoun.
I think
please.
Cameroon is not a world living alone. We have armed forces who can own guns, but when we see an individual who is moving around with a gun, you can imagine what he can do with that person. Automatically, as he has not been authorized by the law to have that gun, becomes a criminal, and the war is supposed to be declared against him. And when the minister is talking about the war that have been won, this war have been won, he said it. He said it clearly.
The war has been won against the criminals.
Minister Godfrey, 1 second,
and
just
please,
1 second.
you people are not there to.
Are you aware that all the states we have in the world were formed out of criminality? Because somebody termed them at a given time as criminals. Doesn't qualify as criminals.
I know you are.
Please,
I know you're a
America
gentleman.
was formed
I
out
know.
of criminality.
I know you're a gentleman. Please.
Yes, Cameroon, we are out of criminality.
So are you people think that
I know you're a
criminals
gentleman,
are going
please.
they are the one to form Cameroon?
The anti-Marine and the rest were criminals.
And let me tell you something.
Please, you are not talking to him, please.
Hands are not going to be down. You understand? Because I know that they will always come out to create some type of psychologically some type of psychological problem to the population. But I think whensoever will be like that, and know our the professionalism of our armed forces, and they are ready, and they will track them down. They will track them down, even if they are thieves. Because if somebody is trying to like demonstrate that America was
all the worlds in the world were from out of criminality. Go and research on that. All the countries in the world were
Please, no, please,
people
please,
call
please.
criminal when they say they wanted
the
to
one
ask.
asking
Please,
questions.
please. We still have.
We are trying to clarify what the minister said.
By
He
creating
said
confusion.
he said the war was won against
The criminals. We have heard you.
and we know that criminals. So whensoever you have a gun without an authorization,
You are a criminal.
against the state.
You are a criminal. Okay, we have heard you.
Criminals here should be the Anglophones who say that they
Please,
want
Anon,
to
please,
you
please, Anon, please.
They are not
Now
comfortable
you
in
can
Cameroon.
define the
Anon,
criminal as
Anon.
one.
That's what they are calling
You can
criminal, not
define the
people who carry
criminal as
guns.
one.
Anon.
You put criminals, you call Anglophone
full
criminals,
Godfrey.
that is your problem.
Full
That is
Godfrey.
your problem.
That is what you are
That is
saying.
your problem.
Full
I
Godfrey.
said those who took guns against the state without authorization, those are the ones that
They are
are
in
called
Europe and
criminals.
America.
Please.
They are in Europe and in America.
Please.
Cameroon is not America.
Permit us to
Cameroon
continue,
is
please.
not
Permit
America.
us to continue. We still have 5 minutes on this topic. 5 minutes on this first topic. Each speaker will have a minute. We are concluding on this first topic. You have the floor.
Thank you very
Your
much.
last word on this first topic, please.
I wish it wasn't the last word, but when he talked about criminals, I was very much mad with that statement. Why? Because when you talk about those who say you are eating our money, you are getting fat of the money that you're supposed to repair our roads, and we're dying on those roads. We can't remove farm to market products. We can't remove products from the farm and sell them very well because the roads are bad. You have eaten all the money at the level of the councils and the livelihood of FACOM, and you call them criminals. Why you who are embezzling that money, you are the good person, and you decide that because they reivindicate for these things, you say they should be shot and they are criminals. If that's the definition of who criminals are, there is no problem.
Please,
but
you are defining the criminals as you want.
You will have
I'm going back to what the minister said. Those who took guns against the
So
state
are they
are
not the ones
called
fighting? Are they not the ones
criminals.
fighting?
You
Are they not the
understand?
ones fighting for this thing you
Yes.
just said?
when the coronavirus
you
came,
people-
the money
you
we
people can define the
My 1 minute, they are using my 1 minute.
criminals as one.
They are using my 1 minute.
Please. Allow Prince Will to learn.
So
Allow. No, he is
these,
from the communication
these.
unit of the CPDM party. It's
On
normal.
these.
Okay.
Yes, on my part,
Prince Will, please.
on my part, this is the way forward. The ministers, together with all the cabinet members and the president of the republic, have to accept that Cameroon is all Cameroonians are one and they belong to Cameroon. So neither of them, neither the separatist fighters nor the military people deserve to die. They are young Cameroonians who are there to protect. We should be fighting against Boko Haram. We should be fighting against our boundaries of the country and not among Cameroonians.
Okay.
And the second thing is that the military people must be aware. They must have that consciousness, because in Mautu we didn't see anybody who was shot that had a gun. We saw children of 5 years, 4 years. We didn't see them. I'm not saying the military people shot them, but those unidentified gunmen who shot them. Because in Kumba we needed military men to be guarding those children as the government pledged, but we didn't see where they went to when those children were being shot. So what we are saying is that there is a better way, because it is often said that the form of the state is a taboo to be said in this country, but I want to say maybe the government in place should stand again and look how they could look at the form of the state, because the principle, it's true that the separatists are no longer, they are categorically refusing the form of the state to even be a question, because they want a total secession. But before now, we went at this stage, we are at the stage where we could even negotiate the form of the state with them. And if they are moving to that state where they don't want category, it's true that they don't have that power that they will say they can stop this forever, but they'll continue. People will keep losing their life, and we are playing the who is strong and who is not strong.
2016, 2021, almost 5 years already.
Almost 5 years on the same.
The advice that you are giving is what?
And
the advice
is
that you are
that
giving.
the state state and the powers be should consider the form of the state while it's still early as a prerequisite condition. Then we should move to another dialogue. But before that dialogue comes, it is better that if the president in place, whom Cameroonians think that he is gradually and he is no longer having that force of ruling, should maybe organize a political transition, something.
Okay, we have heard you. We have heard you. Ano?
Thank you. God bless Cameroon.
I want to say something to Mr. Godfrey, that we are Cameroonians. Campaigns are over. There is no partisan politics, and that way is going on now. The CPGM party is the one that is at the helm and is driving this country towards its emergence. You debate that with nobody. You have won and you are in power. Let us just do the right things. That is all we are asking. Let us do the right things. And then those of you who behave like this Pentecostal people around, who think that the ministers there are for the CPGM, no, you are wrong. You need to go back to the classroom. I'm a teacher. I'm available to give you some lessons on that. You don't own the ministers. They are our ministers. No, I'm not talking to you. I said those who think so. I'm saying Mr. Godfrey. If you get that confused, don't. I'm saying those who think that the ministers, the prime minister, and all of this belong to the CPGM party, and they have to work according to the whimsies and the caprices of those of the CPGM party. No, they are wrong. It's not like, it's just like the Pentecostals who think that God now is theirs. The Africans don't belong to God. We say it is our God, all of us, but we see it from different angles. You are in the CPGM, you see the way we can drive this country towards this. Cameroonians have given you that visa. Drive us now towards this direction. Drive us now towards what we think we can go. We have the laws there. Let us apply those laws. Let us go by the right way. We have the right to talk to our minister and react to our minister's statement. Don't think that when we react to the minister's statement is because we are against whatsoever. No, I'm reacting as a national, as a Cameroonian, and I find it annoying, vexing that people can be dying on daily basis. Bombs are exploding. People don't sleep with their two eyes covered, and you come up. My minister comes up and say the war is over. Is that serious? Is that serious?
The advice that you are giving.
The advice is this, therefore, we should stop taking the ball off the stage to play in the corridor. We should stop chasing the shadow and leaving the object. The object here is the Anglophone matter, which is on the table. The Anglophones have come to realize that they are not treated well here. They table these problems over and over, and it has taken another phase today. We are playing over the thing. The root causes are still there. We say we win the war. That's those people who carry the weapons and all that. If actually it has done, have we won the ideology? The ideology is still there. I'm Cameroonian. I'm a Southern Cameroonian. I believe so strongly that we are not treated well here. We are not treated well here in this country. And we think that we could sit and talk.
Are you for secession? Don't tell me that you are for secession, I know.
No, I said we are not treated well here. We are not treated well. We could sit and talk about it. Let them sit down and talk about it. The leaders are there. They have arrested some. They're in the prison. Who voiced this out? The Agbobalas, the Aya Paul, these guys in the US and Europe. The state could talk with them, negotiate with them. And I'm thankful for God who has given that ideology that some negotiations are going on now.
Okay.
Cameroon will be arranged, and those people who want to see it crumble will be shocked.
Okay. Your minute, Fabrice?
Yes, thank you very much, Clarkson, once more for giving me the opportunity. One thing I will tell my Honorable Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister of Interior, is that the political arrangement that is existing in Cameroon now does not befit the Anglophone dream or even the dream of an emergent Cameroon. The military perception, the manner in which our uniformed officers, be it the gendarme, the army, are operating in Cameroon is not the best for this country to move forward. And the way in which partisan politics is existing in Cameroon will never propel the country in front, whether the minister likes it or not. And we of the Popular Action Party thinks that it is not time for you to behave as if you are more CPDM than another person, or if somebody is not CPDM, the person is not patriotic to this country. That's a wrong ideology. And one thing about this Anglophone war is that people don't know. You see, those children who ran into the bushes in 2016-17, who are in the neighboring Cross River states and the neighboring states of Nigeria, I am telling you, I'm seeing the statement of the minister is making me to see another Palestine in Cameroon, where there will be continuity and cross-generational fight and revolution. Because even if the intellectuals of 2016 to 2021 stop what they are doing, the intellectuals of the 2025 to 2030 will continue this thing, Mr. Clarkson, because I am a young person and I've moved with the old people and I've learned a lot from them and I've seen what is happening in the ground. There is a different mindset and the children in these different camps are being taught something completely different from those people who are in Yaoundé and think that they own Cameroon and everything and always.
What is the advice? What is the advice?
My advice is this: we need to go to the second phase of negotiation, and this negotiation needs to be out of Cameroon without precondition. Everybody must be included whose interest is to see that
an inclusive dialogue.
An inclusive dialogue, and this inclusive dialogue must include the highest authority and the first citizen of this state, which is the President of the Republic. He is still the President of the Republic and he needs to assume his responsibilities or relinquish power. That's what we are telling him. The international community is there to help us. Let us use that opportunity. And while helping us, we need to hold ourselves as Cameroonians. Because one thing this country fails to do is that they like crying sovereignty foul, whereas they don't want to unite their people when they're giving them the opportunity.
Okay, we have heard you. Thank you. Full Godfrey, your last word on this topic?
My last words, I can just say, as the minister just said, everything is gradually coming back to normal and the population should cooperate because we are in a country where when people are even complaining, if you look at the other regions, you see that if they were to complain, it's almost the whole Cameroon.
That's another debate.
I understand. But I just want to believe that we are at the face of the decentralization. And when people are talking about another form of state, I think let's implement what is there now and see the results. Because we are just putting in place the decentralization and people are already thinking of another form of state. So I think.
Please, allow him to talk, please.
There are some things that you shouldn't say because
please, allow him to talk, please. Yeah, allow him to talk, please.
You are not the one who brought me here.
No, I didn't say I brought you here.
Yes,
I talked about the form of the state. Okay?
Yeah, you are not the one who put in place that form of state.
Please, allow him to talk, please.
So I was just saying that now we have House of Chiefs that came back. We have many things that have been put in place, and now the population they can channel their problem, and their problems are going to be forward to the right place. So
please allow him.
I think today
Cameroon is on a good footing.
And we have to really be happy because things are really moving. And you see the
Cameroon is on a good footing, Mr. Godfrey. When we are losing people in Northwest and Southwest,
is going on.
Cameroonians are happy. That's what he's saying.
There are explosives already now. Remember, this thing started with rubber guns.
See.
It started with stones and sticks.
They have moved from that stage to talk at my place.
Local guns. They went to AKs as the military.
When you people are speaking,
we are on a good footing.
Quiet. Please. Let me tell you, if you want to go that way, even the second topic, I'm going to disturb until the
we are not disturbing. We are not disturbing.
I'm telling you, why is it that when I'm speaking, you people are just I'm not coming here.
You say things are not found.
Please,
allow him. We are going on a good footing.
Please, allow him. This says Cameroon is on a good footing.
People are dying. We are on a good footing.
We shall be moving now on to
I think the issue of decentralization.
Even if the minister said that, if the minister talks about,
we shall be moving now.
Government is making everything.
We shall be moving now on to our second topic. But before this second topic, I would like us to have this report, please. The second topic.
President Biden Jr. do solemnly swear.
At an inauguration like no other, amidst a raging pandemic in a city that had become a fortress of fences, concrete barriers and security checkpoints, President Biden pleaded for unity in his inaugural address to a divided nation, promising to be a president for all Americans during his swearing-in ceremony on January 20, 2021. At Biden's inaugural ceremony, Lady Gaga powered through national anthem, Except Music, while Jennifer Lopez performed a united song known as This Land Is Your Land, song for unity in a divided America, except Jennifer Lopez. It should be recalled that at the inaugural of previous American presidents, beginning with former President Donald Trump, dated back on January 20, 2017, his inaugural song went through by Jackie Evancho. And Michael Jackson on January 20, 1992 performed at the 42nd President of the United Nations, William Jefferson Clinton inaugural. An emotional rendition of Gone Too Soon to HIV activist Ryan White. Except as President Biden signs slews of executive actions at the White House with his new administration today, after resuming work yesterday and after opening his yet-to-disclose letter content left by Donald Trump, who quitted the White House without officially handing of power to President Biden, President Obama and Harris celebrate historic inaugural. Americans are therefore hopeful for once again a united nation.
Trump refuses to attend the inauguration ceremony of Joe Biden as the 46th American president. The lessons that we can learn from America's democracy. I begin with you, Anong. What can we learn from America's democracy?
The lessons, there is no book in the world that can contain the lessons that we can learn from American democracy. I think it is, as of now, by my standards of judgment, yet the untouchable democracy in the world, with that of Britain and a few English-speaking countries in the world. One, we could learn that an incumbent organizes an election and cry foul, suggesting that there is democracy. An incumbent appoints magistrates to look into electoral fraud in regions that the incumbent complains, and the magistrates do their job and declare him the loser. We are witnesses to all of that. This is, I think, an apex of democracy. Institutions are free. We just saw it. Institutions are free. We saw the demonstrations at the Capitol. We saw it. The military, the armed forces are the ones attacked, and they're the ones who go down, not civilians. That is an apex of democracy. They had weapons, they had the orders that they could just pass, put people down, shoot, did and all of that. There were soldiers more who were wounded, and the security men. That is an apex of democracy. He has refused to come and hand over power and all of that. The institutions they play their role. He is a persona non grata. It is his decision. It is still democracy. It's an apex of democracy. He is not stifled that you must come and hand this power. No. He allows it and he's not coming. He is free. Now the other institutions will take place. I wish Africa, I wish this motherland of Mother Earth, Africa, could learn from this legendary democracy. Look at the president coming up to power. Look at the celebration. Look at the number of former presidents who attend the ceremony. How many in Africa have seen this? Where no, let's leave Cameroon aside, please. Let's leave Cameroon aside. We are an example for other debates. We are examples for other debates. Yes, I would prefer let us talk Africa, because there are some countries in Africa that will pick some of their lessons here, of course, and they will better it. I'm thinking of countries like Ghana. I'm talking of countries like South Africa.
Are you saying Cameroon cannot pick any lesson?
Cameroon is for another debate, as this topic is concerned.
Yes.
We are still in the forests before we get along the road to start seeing road to go to where we have to go to. As of now, our democracy is not yet born. It's not yet born. So we cannot start talking about democracy. Because I am about 35 and so plus. I know one president I know one President Speaker of National Assembly. I have known the same names of ministers all through. Same names, year in, year out. In fact, let us not talk Cameroon, please. Let us talk democracy.
Yeah.
The model of democracy. Which some people
Which is
will be very
America.
swift, which is America. Which is America. I think we should say that loud and clear, that despite all the odds, we are witnesses to the independent nature of the different institutions. That is the very first thing. We cannot come close to it. We will dirty it to compare it with us. It's like taking white cloth beside a pig in pig style. America has, the judiciary is independent. The Congress, independent. The executive, independent. The Armed Force Department, independent.
So Cameroon is not even close.
Please, it's like the pig style.
Okay.
And the white.
We have heard you. Lessons that we can learn from America's democracy.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Tabi Clarkson. I think my brother has almost said it all, but I still have a lot to add. You know, it is true he will want to shake his head because we have different models and different application of democracy. You know, democracy may be masked to be democracy. Don't mistake. There are some Nigerian musicians in the early 90s, 92, 93, they sang a song. They just the demo the craze. You understand? You use the word demo and you are just crazy behind, and Fela Kuti and other people have sang. So people interpret it the way they are. But let's come back to the United States of America, which is a model. I want to see added with a lot of grandeur in it. It's a model of democracy. Not because we saw that President Donald Trump cried foul, because they said there was election rigging and the like. And most people think that the best democracy should not have election rigging. But no, I'll tell you, even in a church, there are priests that have children. Did the Bible say that priests should not have children? Of course, yes. Priests are not supposed to by the canon laws.
But elections too in church are not fair. Yeah, is that not fair?
We are coming there. So only when you have come to that point where you're being met with those hurdles before you understand the tests of your strength. If America did not get to this stage where we'll have to see people start crying foul, they wouldn't have tested the strength of the democracy. This is a veritable test of strength of democracy, because like he said, you have a president who is going out, the one who is organizing the elections, the one, and we're not talking about any type of president, we're talking about a billionaire. Somebody who did not accept pay wages, packages while he was in the White House. Somebody who could buy people, somebody who nominated people in posts. Then you understand that we are talking about of democracy where the institution, the strength of the institution, there is that separation of power. What John Locke talked about, what Montesquieu talked about, which are the focal points of a state. For you to have a state which, like that of America, that's why I was very happy and with him when he was talking, saying that we shouldn't just take Cameroon closer to, and it's funny to him, but that's the reality. Okay, in the US, when we talk about the separation, you have the organ, like I want to make a fast comparison. You have Elekam in Cameroon, you had the US, the department that was supposed to organize election. You have but let's talk about the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. All in Cameroon, there's no separation. You know, like he was making mention of the National Assembly has been the same person, the president has been the same person, the president of Senate has been the same person, and this has been the same person. Yes, which goes a long way to make you understand that there is no difference, because if this same person, if A has been A and B has been B from 1990 to from 1982 or 1984 to today, and this has from 1986 to today, it means that the same people, there's no difference. These are the same people who have put their hands
has
together.
nothing to learn from America.
No, I didn't say Cameroon has nothing to learn from America.
What are you saying?
But Cameroon has a lot to learn from America.
We have heard you. We have heard
Not
you.
as the best.
We have heard
Not
you.
as the best, because yes, no.
We have heard you.
Let
We
me
have heard you.
just
We don't have much time. We
conclude.
don't have
Let
the
me
whole
just
day.
conclude.
Yeah,
not
conclude.
not as the best in the world, because it's not everything that we need to copy. I want to take, there are some areas that I actually saw with the inauguration of President Biden, which is not the best. This issue of I don't want to say homosexuality, but this issue of how do we put it, of gay marriages, which is, yes, they'll say it is part of human rights, but what type of rights are we talking about?
Okay.
You have to put it forward. There are some of those things that we could not see under Trump that we saw under Biden.
Okay.
We also have to appreciate. And appreciation has a negative and a positive, so we have to understand that.
Godfrey, Cameroon, America's democracy, can we compare it with that of Cameroon?
Yes, Mr. Tabi, if you see me since laughing, I just have something. They themselves, they know. If you want to know the black side of Cameroon, if you want to know the ugly side of Cameroon, meet a Cameroonian. You see, when I see the way they are debating this second team, when I see the way they are painting the American democracy, what should not be good, they will try to fabricate it. Please, sometimes, as you make your bet, so shall you lie on it. And this moment, you are a Cameroonian, which simply means Cameroon is your bet.
Ancestors are
as you paint it with PP inside, as you paint it with cockroach and all the rest, that's the bet where you lie
on a bet that we didn't make.
Yes.
About 35
you
years
paint
old.
all what you can paint for American democracy, but all what I will say,
I have not seen leaders
all
change
what I will say,
please, please, allow him to talk, please.
For now, I may say our democracy is just 60 years old.
Yeah.
And they have, for now, if we just want to take the election that passed in America, we have nothing. If you want to take just the example of what happened in America, we have nothing to learn from this election. Because when you look at the way those people behave, they are backward. So it means I can even say 60 years behind Cameroon. When you see what they have many things.
How many civilians were shot at the Capitol?
You have no question.
Mr. Godfrey, how many civilians were shot dead? How many were arrested?
Yes.
When they were demonstrating at the Capitol,
yes.
Putting their
No,
stand.
it was not in Cameroon.
It's
was in
US.
America. Yes.
Demonstration is enshrined
so
in all democracies.
No, it's democracy. People shot dead.
No, I'm asking
democracy.
how many
no,
were
people shot dead is democracy. People destroy is democracy, and that is the exactly that's I don't need to know. But if you can't paint it as the highest democracy and the most important democracy in the world, and you are talking about shooting people, destroying things, do you know that there will be a vote to see if Trump will not be eligible? There is a vote, and they just wait if they for the other presidential election in America. Yes. And when they are doing that, no, it's still democracy.
Okay,
all those things are democracy. When they are killing somebody in the democracy where he's supposed to hand over power, that's what others have been doing. No, I'm saying I've already understood you people. You understand? I said if you want to know the ugly side of Cameroon, come and see Cameroonians. And when you see Cameroonians, I want to remind you people that it is your bet. It is your bet. It is your bet. As you spend it. We are
to get the beautiful side of Cameroon.
Please allow him to talk, please. I'm coming to you.
The way you paint Cameroon, because the way you just talk about
that Cameroon is black. It's a black picture.
When they talk about the American democracy, I was asking myself,
but is it not a model? Is it not a model? American democracy, is it not a model?
With what we are seeing, I think they still have a lot to learn from democracy from Cameroon is concerned. If they are the one, and that's where you know that, and that's where you discover that the democracy.
Please allow you to finish. Let me learn.
Let me tell you something. You cannot stop me. Maybe
please,
if those
land.
Yes.
Yeah, please don't talk. Please. Yes. Land.
You give you your own time.
Yeah, please talk.
So
people are watching you.
I'm saying Cameroon for now. With what is happening in America, Cameroon have nothing to learn from that democracy.
Okay, we have heard you. Cameroon has nothing to learn from America's democracy. That is what full Godfrey is saying. Fabrice Lena.
I would say that, America got its complete independence from Britain right in 1773, if I'm not mistaken.
1779. Yeah, criminal means.
Exactly.
Starting with criminals.
Which means America is about 5 centuries. 5 centuries ahead of
Americans took guns against British. They stormed the Boston Tea Party and loot everything into the sea. That was criminal, and it was taxed criminal. But the result is American independence.
So those guns.
And when Rudolph Umnyobe picked, you were talking about Cameroon. What did happen to him? What happened to him?
Please.
We
You
get
guys allow
Cameroon.
Fabrice Lena.
We
We
get the
don't
Republic of
we
Cameroon.
don't have much time, please. Allow Fabrice
And
Lena
then
to go on.
Wandi, Omnyobe, the
Fabrice
Kales, Fonchas, all of these people were criminals when they were asking for a statehood for Cameroon.
Even the person who
to the
sacrificed
British.
his life for this country,
Please.
who is known as
Please.
Dollar Manga, but do they even remember him?
The thing is, in Cameroon,
We are
is
talking
that,
America's democracy, please.
some people in Cameroon think that they have monopoly of knowledge. That's the problem with this country, because looking at the number of time a human being is supposed to pass on Earth, we have few decades to live on Earth, and the decade is too much for somebody who has 10 decades to live. Now, Mr. Clarkson, when an individual holds or leads an institution for more than 3 decades, do you call that democracy? If we want to follow our normal Bantu chiefdom and monarchy, let's follow it.
That would be very fine.
Let's follow it. Let's say
Let's
no,
not
we are
spin
in
the name of
monarchy.
democracy.
We should know that we are in a monarchical system where it is either by hereditary or by some sort of constitutional monarchy where there's a constitutional heir, as it has been in Cameroon. We should not be using democracy
Go and tell
Mr.
Trump
Fu,
that he was supposed
we
to
should
go.
not be using democracy.
Yes.
And then we are calling,
tell him.
we are
Because
practicing
he's
a
angry.
different form of governance, which
He's
is
gone.
monarchy.
He's still angry.
You
He's
get it?
gone.
Yes, he's still
Secondly,
He's gone.
He loves
I want to
it.
say that in America, what I have learned so far is that, America have strong institutions, no doubt. And it is the institutions that have made the attitude of a president who wants to stay in power to be curtailed. Which is the principles of democracy that we want to see. But I will want to say something, that America is a different continent, Africa is a different continent. If we want to learn lessons from America, I will say that there are elements of American democracy that it could help us in our own form of governance. What I think is the problem with Africa is that we are fundamentally not democratic people. We are fundamentally monarchical. And a well-arranged monarchical system of governance would have been good for African countries, especially for presidents like President Paul Biya, President like Yoweri Museveni, President like Denis Sassou Nguesso, President like Obiangema Tedoro, President like Akanj for Teodera. I'm telling you, because
like Donald Trump.
because Mr. Tabi Clarkson, when you look at
You don't know
Ghana,
how long Biden will be there.
when you look at Ghana and you look at the way the guys organize their elections, there are those African countries that have decided to accept that colonial path, and they're actually implementing. But in Central Africa, in particular, and in some East African and West African countries,
French-speaking countries.
in French-speaking countries generally, democracy is utopic. In Cameroon, it is.
We have just a few minutes here.
It's abstract.
I'm
not
asking,
existing at all.
I'm asking that they should ask us just 5 minutes.
Mr.
The
Tabi,
time,
if
please.
I take the floor.
The time for us to have this report, the report in sports, please. Can we have it? Mali versus Cameroon, the report, before we conclude the program, please. Cameroon and Mali played a 1-1 tie yesterday at the Yaoundé Omi Sports Stadium. The match that counted for day 2 in the ongoing African Football Championship that Cameroon is organizing was really hot from start to finish, with all the 22 actors putting in their all best to defend their national colors. It was Cameroon through its center defender and captain Salomon Banga that opened scores at the 5th minute of play through a header after a free kick was beautifully taken from the right flank. 7 minutes later, that is at the 12th minute of play, the Malian national football team obtained a free kick at the edge of the penalty box, which was brilliantly taken by Samake. Goalkeeper Ashu Kerego of Cameroon had nothing to do. At halftime, the scoreboard read Cameroon 1, Mali 1. During the second half of the game, we saw the same determination from all the actors. Chances were created by both teams, but goalkeeper Ashu Kerego was a masterpiece at the goalpost for Cameroon, as on several occasions he saved the intermediate Lions from embarrassment. After 90 minutes, the match ended on a 1-1 tie. Cameroon has 4 points, Mali has 4 points, but Cameroon's game on Sunday against Burkina Faso will be very decisive, as the Burkinabés easily overpowered the Warriors of Zimbabwe by 3-1 in the second game of Group A last night. Sunday is Cameroon versus Burkina Faso. A draw will be sufficient for Cameroon to qualify. Same as Mali will need a draw to qualify when they take on Zimbabwe. Okay, we are concluding the program today. We are talking CHAN. A word on that, Anong. Are you optimistic? Do you think Cameroon will win the competition?
Well, as of now, I think whether Cameroon will win or Cameroon will not win, as of now, for me, the biggest victory of Cameroon is to come out of this mess that is going on in southern Cameroon. Let us sit on the table and resolve that problem. This CHAN has got little or no impact to the bona fide Cameroonians today, following the multiple deaths that are going on, and people are playing over it and normalizing them.
It's 30 seconds, sir.
So we wish that they should win, so that they could gain the booties that they want to get from there and come back and then concentrate to see that we can now invite the parties that are concerned with this bloody conflict.
We have heard
and resolve it.
30 seconds.
The lives matter. The lives of the military matter. The lives of the civilians matter.
30 seconds,
the lives of those separatists matter.
Lena, you have 30 seconds.
Yes, what I would like to say about the CHAN is that, well, you've noticed, we've noticed, Cameroonian, that the enthusiasm and optimism that is always accompanied football competitions, and Cameroon being a high sport country in the world, has died down because there are a lot of preoccupation in the mind of Cameroonians. There are a lot of problems that are disturbing Cameroonians, you know, problem of survival, problem of security, the Anglophone crisis. So if I want to say something about the CHAN, is that the government is using it as a political tool to cover up its messes to the international community and to us Cameroonians. And we wish the boys well, you know, in their own career. There's first of all personal achievement. So first of all, as a Cameroonian, I would say that I wish the boys should succeed. But then let the politicians remember that they will never run away from their problems. After CHAN, they will come back to face
Will,
their
you are
problems
30 seconds.
and we'll face it together.
Thank you.
Prince Will.
I want to say, as a patriotic Cameroonians, I wish the boys I wish them good luck, and I wish them good luck over Burkina Faso, because football is another part of the domain, another industry which young people depend on. But still, I want to beg and plead on the authorities that the 9 shirt, numero 9, or the 9 shirt that was given to President Paul Biya by the president of FIFA, he should use that 9 shirt and score the right goal, because the right goal is what matters, and that right goal has to do with coming out of the Anglophone crisis. The Cameroonians all want to unite with their brothers and sisters. We want to see that the next Nation Cup that is coming, all of us will go to Limbe and watch freely. We'll go to Boya and watch freely, and will not be going inside armor cars. God bless Cameroon.
God bless Cameroon. Full Godfrey, you are 30 seconds.
Yes, I want to say Cameroon is going to win. You know, they have the fighting spirit, and the competition is just beginning, and I think they will reach their top. So I will just call for all Cameroonians to rally and stand up as one person and support them. So for the population of Northwest and Southwest, I will just call them to cooperate with our armed forces to see that to put down these people who are there to destroy the construction of our nation.
We say thank you, gentlemen, for coming. It's on this note that we put an end to this, another edition of the Republican debate. The Republican debate on the Republican television with Republican panelists. We say thank you for coming. My name is Clarkson Tabi, a young Motayong Mansai. Then we say take another appointment, same time next week on the same channel. Well, may God continue to bless the Republic.